Growing a traditional vegetable garden requires three things: a yard, extra space, and money. But what if you don't have a yard? What if your yard isn't big enough? What if you're renting? What if you don't have the money for garden beds, soil, and fencing? What if you physically can't do the work of building a vegetable garden? Well, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how to grow vegetables without needing any of those things. But even if you have a dedicated vegetable garden like I do, most gardeners still have a problem. It's never big enough. Every spring, I have dozens of extra plants that I can't fit in my garden, and I just don't have the heart to throw these away, so it's forced me to get creative. Over the years, I've invented countless weirdly brilliant ways to grow vegetables without having a garden, and on today's video, I'm sharing my secrets. We're going to start with the most common solutions first, and we'll get more and more creative as the video goes on. Solution number one is to build a container garden. Container gardens are probably the most common solution for gardeners that are renting or don't have a big backyard or don't have the money to spend to build expensive raised beds and fill them with tons of soil. And over the years, I have built myself quite the extensive container garden. In fact, when I first moved into my home almost a decade ago at this point, I had a far larger container garden than I did an in-ground vegetable garden because of the cost and the time it takes to build. For folks on a budget, you're going to want to get yourself some grow bags. 20 and 25 gallon grow bags can be bought for only about $3 to $4 a piece. You can buy them in 6 packs, 10 packs, 20 packs. The bigger the pack you get, the more affordable they are per grow bag, and they unlock limitless possibilities. My container garden is a blend of hard nursery containers that I use for fruit trees and fabric grow bags that I use for annuals. For example, I use 20 and 25 gallon grow bags for most of my annuals. These are potatoes right here, and they are growing in 25 gallon grow bags. Same thing with my sweet potatoes that you see right here. All of these indeterminate tomatoes right here are growing in 20 gallon grow bags. And it certainly is not hurting the production, wouldn't you say? Woo! Just look at all of those plum tomatoes in there. Boy, oh boy, is that not beautiful? Tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, sweet potatoes, potatoes, they all grow excellent in grow bags. Here comes the inspector. He's a big fan of the grow bags, right, buddy? They're at perfect pea level. And my fruit trees, predominantly figs, are growing in all 15-gallon hard nursery containers. I like having hard nursery containers for fruit trees because of the aggressive wooden roots. And if you want to learn comprehensively how to grow in grow bags and other containers, I'll link to a video both above and down in the video description that will provide a complete guide. But that being said, when you have a big container garden like this, you still need a lot of room. So what happens if you don't have room to spare? By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. YouTube has changed the algorithm this year to promote shorts content over long format content. So between that and all of these crazy AI videos that are everywhere, it's been really hard for long form content creators to find new audiences with all of these changes. So if you enjoy this type of deep dive video that is made by a real human being, please make sure you hit the like button, share it with as many people as you can, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel because all of those things really help with the visibility. I really appreciate your support. Solution number two is to grow along a garden fence. This is a fantastic solution for gardeners that have a vegetable garden, but it's a little bit too small because this allows our fence to act as a trellis and kind of take care of all of these vines that would otherwise sprawl all over the place and take up a lot of room. I normally grow all of my cucumbers out in my container garden, and I trellis them up these poles using strings, and it works out fantastic. But this year, I have been rehabilitating my garden and rebuilding it, so I had to come up with another way to grow them because my container garden was in disarray. So what I did was, I took all of my cucumbers and I planted them on the ends of my raised garden bed, and I'm using my garden fence itself as a trellis. This way, I could have lots of cucumber plants growing all over the place, but using the fence for support. So this allowed me to grow lots and lots of cucumbers while relegating them just to the back row of my raised garden bed, so they wouldn't creep and crawl all throughout my crops. And don't worry about this white stuff, it's just Surround WP kale and clay. I had a cucumber beetle problem and it's really helped, and now the new leaves that they're putting on are nice and clean and beetle free. But it's not just the inside of the garden fence that you can use to your advantage. It's also the outside. I had a spare melon plant and I didn't want to throw it away, so I actually just dumped some compost in a pile right next to all of my flowers that you see right here, and I put this little honey rock cantaloupe plant right here in the front. And now that's going to grow up the front of my fence, and I'll be able to have harvests both in the front and the back of my garden. Here's the honey rock growing on the outside of my garden. It's right across from a honey rock on the inside of my garden that I planted first. And look at what you're seeing right there, melons. Are plants grown on the outside of my garden going to be more vulnerable to pests? Yeah, they will be, but remember, these were extra plants. So instead of throwing them away, even if I lost half the crop, that would still be a lot more of a crop than I would have gotten if I would have tossed the plants. In fact, it looks like something nipped up this calendula right here, probably the bunny living in my yard, but hey, it left the cantaloupe vine completely alone, so no harm, no foul. Solution number 3 is to install some raised garden beds up against our property line fence. If you have a small backyard, it may take up too much real estate to plop a full garden right in the center of it. You may have no yard left, but by planting along our perimeter, especially a perimeter fence, it makes great use of real estate that we usually are not doing anything with anyway, and it still allows the center of our small yard to be wide open. In fact, this is so space efficient, I have put my most intrusive plants over here, watermelons and squash vines. Had I planted them out in my open garden, they would have vined out all over the place and taken up a ton of real estate that I could use on other plants. So instead, I stuck them neatly in this corner, and what I did was I took these modular metal raised garden beds and placed them up against my fence, and then fence stapled some cattle panel from Tractor Supply up against them to use as a trellis, and it has worked brilliantly. This is a seedless watermelon called Tropical Sunshine. I am really excited to try them. Then over here I have a nice large zucchini plant that has been feeding me for quite some time. Then I have some herbs in here because I had the space. I have basil, parsley, dill, as well as several pepper plants growing on. Then in the bigger, deeper raised garden bed is where I have my very demanding squash and pumpkins. I have Zucchino rampicante and Seminole pumpkin, which are vine borer resistant. So you can see over here, I have these incredible Zucchino rampicante. When they are green like this, you can eat them just like a zucchini. They are very, very nice and tender, but you can also let them harden up and they will be more like a butternut squash. So you can eat them like a summer or a winter squash. They are very versatile. And then the Seminole pumpkin is a native to the southeast vine borer resistant pumpkin, and that is shooting way off to the side. And then I have more watermelon vines and peppers in the front. So by being creative like this, I was able to fit my most intrusive plants in a very, very compact location that won't spread out. So when you think about things and you plan, you can fit a ton of food in almost no space. So use this as inspiration. But what if you don't have a perimeter fence or you don't have a backyard at all? Well, solution number 4 is to drop a few raised beds right up against your house foundation. You don't need any yard at all to make this work. I specifically took a minimalist approach to landscaping up against my house because I wanted to use it for garden space, and I put several spare plants in this raised garden bed right here. I have some basil, I have a couple of peppers, and I have 3 different types of tomatoes. And what I thought was going to be a great idea that I've been doing for years is I have been string trellising them up the rain gutters. Now, a lot of people are afraid to put weight on their rain gutters, but I've been doing this for years, and 2 or 3 tomato plants aren't heavy enough to do any damage to my gutters. However, you don't have to use the string trellis if you don't want any weight on your gutters. Just use cages, just use traditional stakes. You can even let the plants sprawl all over the ground if you must. But the idea is you have a nice protected location right here because you have the house itself as a windbreak. It will keep the plants a little bit warmer in the winter. The rain gutters over top will protect from excessive rainfall, and I have found the plants to grow really, really well in this orientation. I mean, look at this tomato plant right here. It is absolutely thriving, and it's the first week of June, and it is covered in red fruit. And we have more and more big clusters of tomatoes as you go up the vine. So lots of stuff to look forward to right here. I've had excellent production for years doing it like this. So you don't need to have a yard at all. Just make use of your foundation space for planting. But what if you don't want to buy a raised bed at all? Well, just plant some vegetables in the ground right up against your house foundation. That's what I have growing on right here. I have a whole bunch of spare plants here that I just didn't have the heart to throw away. A couple of weeks ago, I ran this experiment where I bought every different brand of compost that I could find, and I tested them against each other. I'll link to that video both above and down in the video description if you want to see how those different brands of compost shook out. But at the end of the test, I had all of this extra compost. So I just wheelbarrowed it over here and I dumped it in a pile and I planted all of these extra plants in it. So those are the tomatoes, peppers, and basil that I planted way back in the beginning of spring. They are nice and big, but over here is where I planted all of the leftover plants in this extra compost that I have. So I have an eggplant, I have a couple of different types of peppers, I have a dwarf tomato. This is actually a bay tree that I planted. I want to have a bay laurel tree right here. And then these are some volunteer tomatoes that came up from last year on their own and self-seeded because I've been growing here for a few years now, and it's been great to get some extra harvests. It must be some kind of stocky cherry type or something. That's one of the cool things about volunteer tomatoes. You never know what you're going to get. But either way, this is an incredibly efficient way to grow food, and it requires no yard at all, at least no backyard. Solution number 6 is to grow vegetables as ground cover. You can use your imagination and grow any type of vegetable that you wish, but one of my favorites are cucumbers and squashes. I love growing cucumbers as ground cover under my fruit trees. This forms a fantastic symbiotic relationship between the plants because the cucumbers shade the soil, which keeps the fruit tree roots cool and suppresses weeds, and the fruit trees give the cucumbers sun protection when the sun is highest in the sky by providing a little dappled light. The end result is big harvests while using no additional garden or yard space. I also like doing this with perennials like strawberries. I have strawberries growing underneath all of my apple, peach, and pear trees. They make absolutely fabulous ground cover and they provide great harvests. These are all June-bearing types and they're only on their first year, so they haven't produced a lot yet, but they are getting going and I have had a little bit of a harvest, and they're great for weed suppression. They self-mulch and add a little bit of organic matter to the soil. They keep the fruit tree roots cool, and the fruit trees give back to them by shading them in the afternoon. So it's been a wonderful symbiotic relationship, and as you can see, I'm starting to reap the rewards, all for no additional space. And solution number 7 is to use a tree as a trellis. Back in the winter, I had a dump truck load of compost delivered right where I'm standing right here, and I used that to fill my raised garden beds and top off all of my fruit trees and landscaping. And I dumped a big pile underneath this palm tree right here, and I'm growing a spare cherry tomato up it because, hey, why not? Tomatoes really enjoy shade, especially where I live in the coastal southeast. So this is a super sweet 100 tomato. I'm just going to let it trellis right up this palm tree right here. And it's only been in the ground for about 10 days because, well, it was a spare plant that I had let go and get really leggy. But it's starting to take, you can tell, because the root is starting to sprout right there. And it's getting enough light because it is clearly flowering. This is something that I've been doing for years with pretty decent success. In fact, I have some volunteer tomato plants coming up under a lot of my palm trees and other kind of landscaping trees. So these are just a couple of volunteers that sprouted, and they are doing tremendously well, no signs of disease, and there's just no point to pull them because any harvest I get off of them, even if it's not a great big harvest, it's no big deal because it's free food. It's stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise grown. And that right there are 7 weirdly brilliant ways that you can grow food all over the place without having a formal vegetable garden or even a backyard at all. Folks, I'm here to tell you, you don't need a lot of space to grow food. You don't need a lot of money. You don't even need to own a home. You just need the initiative and the passion to do it. When I bought my house back in 2018, I was broke as a joke. I didn't have a dollar left to my name, and I've built every single thing that you see before you completely 100% by myself with no help, piece by piece, inch by inch, over time, as I could come up with a spare $50 to $100. I know that the housing market out there stinks right now. Things have never been so expensive, but just because you can't have everything that you want at this exact moment doesn't mean that you can't build it slowly over time and wind up with a backyard paradise. That is what I've done, and there are all types of creative ways that you can do things ultra low cost and ultra low space. And I really hope that this video was the motivation for you to go out and try a few new things. You don't need a huge yard. You don't need a lot of money. You can do this. All you need is the passion and a little bit of elbow grease and work ethic. So everybody, I sure hope you enjoyed this video and it helps motivate you to grow some cool stuff in some interesting places. If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring the notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. If you've grown some interesting stuff in cool places that I didn't mention in this video, please leave a comment and let everybody know some interesting places that you've grown some vegetables. For your convenience, I also place direct links down in the video description to any of the items that I mentioned in this video, like the modular garden beds and the trellising supplies and things like that. For everything else I use in real life in my entire yard and garden, that is linked in my Amazon storefront in the video description. And while you're down there, check out my website, themillennialgardener.com, for all things gardening and custom home design merch if you want to support my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Dale, would you like a puppuccino? Dale and I just had a nice walk, and it was very hot. And we never like giving Dale anything other than water after the walk because sometimes he pukes it back up, right? So we always give him about 20 minutes to cool down. But now I think he would like a nice little puppuccino. Dale, your ear is inside out, buddy. Your ear is inside out. Just wait. Okay. Okay, Mr. Inside Out Ear. Fix that up. It's starting to get a little bit warm, so we have to do our walks earlier than normal now. And then eventually it gets so hot that we have to do our walks later than normal. But either way, Mr. Dale always gets his walk.